Intersectionality is a theoretical framework that emerged in the late 20th century as a way of understanding how individuals can experience multiple forms of oppression simultaneously. The intersectionality model has its roots in neo-Marxist theory, which sought to challenge capitalism and class-based oppression by recognizing that oppression could also be based on race, gender, sexuality, and other identity markers. In recent years, this theory is pervasive throughout academia and culture. Ideas such as equity, diversity, inclusion, critical race theory, safe spaces, trigger words, and wokeness are all viewed through an intersectional lens of the world. In this video we will look at a brief history, the roots of the model and some of the dangers of it. The term, intersectionality, is most widely attributed to Kimberly Crenshaw, a legal scholar and activist, in 1989. Crenshaw argued that black women faced a unique form of oppression that could not be understood solely through the lens of either racism or sexism. Instead, she argued that the intersection of these two forms of oppression created a distinct experience of marginalization and discrimination that required a new theoretical framework. Some have also found connections with the ideas of Herbert Marcuse's critical Marxist theory in the late 1960s, predating Crenshaw's use of the term. The ties of intersectionality to Marxism are evident in Crenshaw's quote about power. She says, "Intersectionality is an analytic sensibility, a way of thinking about identity and its relationship to power." Neo-Marxist theory emerged in the mid-20th century as a response to traditional Marxist theory, which focused solely on economic class as the primary source of oppression. Neo-Marxists recognized that oppression was not limited to economic class, but could also be based on race, gender, sexuality, and other identity markers. They believed that these identity markers could intersect and create unique experiences of oppression. The intersectionality model emerged out of neo-Marxist theory as a way to address the limitations of traditional feminist and anti-racist theories. These earlier theories focused on a single form of oppression, such as gender or race, and failed to account for the ways in which different forms of oppression intersect and interact with one another. Intersectionality claims to recognize that individuals could experience multiple forms of oppression simultaneously, and that these forms of oppression were interconnected, nuanced, and mutually reinforcing. The intersectionality model could be criticized for the dangers it creates with identity politics. Identity politics refers to the political movement that focuses on the experiences and perspectives of specific social groups, such as women, people of color, and members of the LGBTQ+ community. Identity politics could be a powerful tool for marginalized groups to gain recognition and representation in society. However, it can also lead to a focus on group identity at the expense of individual identity and personal experience. The intersectional model is based on immutable and inherent characteristics, which no one can change. This begs the question, should we make judgments as to people's experience of the world only based on these identities? What about the white homeless man, who grew up in abuse and poverty, compared to a wealthy African-American woman, who grew up in an affluent society, attending private schools and never experienced a challenging day in her life? According to the intersectional model, the black woman is more oppressed, solely due to her color and sex. Another danger of identity politics is that it can create a hierarchy of oppression, where certain identity markers are considered more important or more legitimate than others. This can lead to a competition for victimhood, where individuals or groups try to claim the most oppressed status. This can also lead to a culture of intolerance, where dissenting opinions or experiences are dismissed or silenced. Jordan Peterson makes a critique of the intersectional worldview, saying that intersectionality speaks to the pathology of the radical left. They are absolutely incapable of viewing the world except through group identity terms. If they disagree with someone, they immediately characterize them by group attributes and make them reprehensible. Ben Shapiro says, "You probably think your opinions matter. You probably think you're an individual with unique experiences, thoughts, and ambitions. Well, I hate to break it to you, but according to current leftist orthodoxy, you're wrong. You see, your opinion only matters relative to your identity, and where that identity ranks on the hierarchy of intersectionality.